Hi, everybody. 7:04. Oh my goodness. One of these days I'll be on time. Like, I forgot my mouse at work. This is Joe's mouse. I'm trying to control my computer with this mouse, wondering why it's not working, and then, not mine. So, if you could say hi in the chat, that would be cool. I feel awesome. I just got my cozy sweatshirt on and starting to gear down for the day. So I'm just gonna keep going, as I'm hoping that there'll be some people that come on. What I wanted to talk about was anxiety and panic attacks. So, a mental illness is different for everybody, but the symptom, like, there's like this is a general of what it's like, but then it's different for everybody. What makes you anxious? I'm just gonna drop a hi in the chat because I don't think I'm signed in, and because I can't see that anyone's here, and I'd like to be able to answer your question. So one moment, please. Sorry. All right. Say hello to all of you. I'll go back to the screen here. So, anxiety is different for everybody. If I'm having a panicky feeling, I haven't had a panic attack in a long time. I take medicine for my anxiety because bipolar is a brain disorder, and unfortunately I've been through tough stuff, like lots of people. All have a story that have caused me to have PTSD. So your brain is wired to be reactive to everything, and I wanted to share. I'm just talking slowly, hopefully, to see if someone can hop on with me. So anxiety is, for me, shortness of breath. Hey Denzel, glad you're here. So I was just waiting for people to pop in, and so as what I announced on Facebook, and you asked about my Facebook, it's Stephanie Brown. You can look up my company, Living Alive Granola, if you can't trace me down through Stephanie Brown, because I bet you there's a lot of Stephanie Browns. So I was saying that anxiety is different for everybody. I am so used to hiding when I'm hyperventilating that the only way I know that I'm hyperventilating and having a panic attack is if I start to get lightheaded. So, I haven't had a panic attack in a long time, and I think I talked about it in the last live, but I thought I'd talk about the do's and don'ts when someone is having an anxiety or panic attack. First of all, anxiety is a good thing, and you might think that's not right, but I will tell you, it's correct. fight or flight response is there to, hey, fight or flight response is there to, like, if you're walking out of a store and going to your car and you step out, but all of a sudden a car comes, you jump back. That's your fight or flight protecting you. That's a good thing. If you know, get a sense that you shouldn't be somewhere, like you start to feel unsafe, that's anxiety's good. Protects you. Where it goes wrong is that growing up, I know some of this stuff because I went to college. I don't have a degree. I have a diploma in Canada, but I have studied it. And from the ages for a child from 0 to 5 are really, 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 really important. It is when the brain is growing the most. And if you've been through something traumatic in your life as a child, which, unfortunately, a lot of us have, your brain, while it's growing, tells you where my country slang, while I was growing up, your brain, it goes through, it's like you poured something in that wasn't meant to be there, and it actually changes your brain pathways, neural pathways. And so you kind of can think of your brain as a puzzle and how it's put together and how it's wired. And that's why I want to really educate that having a mental illness or mental difficulty is so individual. And some people don't benefit from this, but some people might. And doing a mood chart. So for 1 month, every day, I wrote down how I was feeling. And if anybody's listening, this channel is generally mostly for bipolar, but I'm finding that a lot of the stuff that I grapple with is relatable to lots of people. And so, yeah, Denzel, we called environmental versus genetics theory back in my day. When I was studying college, we called it nature versus nurture. And maybe that's just old language now. But it's irrelevant in the sense that today is 2020. And your brain is the way it is, whoever you are. And so you need to learn how you think, because it's exciting that you can actually change and create, science is saying, new neural pathways by changing the way that you think and go about your life. And I can attest to this because I was negative Nelly, Debbie Downer, whatever, for me, why does this always have to happen to me? And, that could be my bipolar and that could be just how I think, but it's irrelevant. It's still not good for me. So I have become a lot calmer this past year. So how does anxiety affect me, Denzel? Well, I feel shortness of breath. I my mind races, and I know you can learn what part of this is the illness and what part of this is you. What part can you control? If I'm uh, if I'm feeling tired, it's a bad idea that I go shopping, because if you have anxiety, and for us bipolar, I become more symptomatic if I'm not 100% or 80%. If I'm tired and I'm getting my running shoes on, I just know deep down you shouldn't be going. You shouldn't be going. You can't handle it. And it's bad when you don't listen to that. How does anxiety, can I give an example? Okay, so with bipolar, your mind races, and lately I've been uh, sort of, so hypomania is a little different than regular mania. It's like in between depression and mania, and I cycle in and out quick. And then I'm aware that I'm not grounded. It's hard to explain. I bet you might find it hard to explain bipolar to people, but I I am non-functioning. Like, I can't think. I can't answer your question. If you ask me something in the middle of a panic attack, this is what I will say: I don't know. Like, really abrupt. And so if anyone's watching that has a family member that goes through anxiety or panic attacks, asking them in-depth questions is a no, in my opinion. I will just say, just stop talking. Stop. Like, I get really not nice. But yesterday I spilled wine all over my table, and I freaked out because of uh, it's just because of an experience I've had. My reaction is to go, oh my god, I didn't mean to do it. Oh my god, look at the mess, it's everywhere. And my family is so awesome at going, it's just wine, we'll clean it up, it's okay. Instead of, why are you being like this? What is wrong with you? Just stop it. Hi, Liz. Thank you. Where are you from, Liz? Um, so, uh, that, like, if you are a caregiver of someone with anxiety or is in the middle of a panic attack, don't ask them questions. They will, I mean, not everybody's the same, and I might seem like a sweetheart, but you're not with me when I'm in an episode. And you need to educate, as the bipolar survivor. If I could create the world, how would it look like? Okay, I'll answer that in a second. So, don't ask people having panic attack questions. They are generally grouchy because I feel outside of my body is a good way to explain it. I feel I'm just like, the world is swirling, and I'm just like, I can't think, and that's why don't ask me a question, because I'm just gonna go, I don't know. So my family reacts. They have learned the hard way. Like, they went through a lot with me. Um, they they try to bring me back down to earth. So something my husband will say is, sit down. Well, sometimes I say I can't. But what would it look like? I guess, Denzel, I'm trying to create the world where people understand how to love their loved one with bipolar or anxiety or schizophrenia, any kind of mental illness. I am Stephanie, you are Liz, you are Denzel, and you know what works for you. Yes, welcome, Liz. And so it is our responsibility in our relationships to communicate. When I'm like this and you do that, it just makes me go up more, escalates it. So, an ideal world, I'm actually fortunate. My family is finally figured out. Like, one day I was having a breakdown on the stairs. And I was so humiliated because having an episode where, because with bipolar, your emotions are out of control, and I was embarrassed because my son watched the whole thing. And he said this. It was very, very eye-opening. Because we don't think that our family understands or knows. But he said, Mom, you've been here a million times. You're going to calm down, and then you'll all be back to normal, and it'll be fine. And he was not scared at all. And if anyone else who doesn't understand the illness would be terrified of, like, I get really upset. So what my family has learned, time skip. Did the video skip? Or you're talking about how I lost time when I go through that, Denzel? So real quick, because it's hard to believe it's already 7:21, and I promised that I won't ramble. I had a friend give me feedback that it needs to be a little shorter. I love sharing, and if you're bipolar, you love to talk. I mean, at least that's what I've seen. So, one, anxiety's your friend. Two, acknowledge it and just like, okay, it's there. I'm feeling anxious right now. And then I looked up so I would stop sounding like maybe I was correct. That's a very good point, Denzel. If you can avoid your triggers. However, I am trying to learn to be in situations so that I'm not left out and go, I can't go to that wedding, I can't do that thing because it'll set me off. I'm learning that in order to be part of family stuff and friends stuff and activities, I have to teach my brain that I'm okay. And so when you keep doing things, you actually look it up, you actually create new neural pathways in your brain. And you can start to be able to be not upset or anxious in certain situations. So that's where I'm at. I never heard of that before, but I took this winter a course with two, psychiatric nurses who led the group. And when they said anxiety is good for me, I thought they were crazy. But then when they explained it, it helps me understand that my fight or flight response is there to protect me, but my brain is a little confused that the fight or flight response does not need to be on all the time. And so you need to, talk to your doctor. Okay? I'm not a doctor. I am just yes, I have created new neurons to always check when you go live. That's funny. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. So like you got to check all this stuff with your people, okay? I'm only sharing with you what's worked for me, and there's not a lot of support for people that are bipolar, and there are people that I know that are very successful in my life that have confided they're not bipolar, but they suffer from crippling anxiety. And so this is relatable. So that's the second thing, which is go to the party. So I might go to a backyard party, but we have, like, my husband's like, well, I got to get Stephanie home. So we don't stay all night. I can't. I'm pushing it. Like, I usually have had my medicine by 6:30, 7 o'clock. But it really makes me uh totally, I'll pay you, you're my online doctor. No, I'm not your online doctor. I'm not qualified, Denzel. I'm glad that I'm helping you, but I am not a doctor. If you need certain medications, like, I can be fine right now and look like this, but you haven't seen me when I've totally went off the deep end. So, keep that in mind. I'm fighting my bipolar illness just like anyone else. I just happen to be okay right now because I got to sit all day in my pajamas. So, um, so like you said, know your triggers. And so I know that I need to get my medication in my system before 8 o'clock, or I'm gonna go into mania. Like, I have to work with my meds. And so to talk about the anxiety side, because that's what it is. So the don'ts are, don't ask your family member, like, why are you acting like this? And, like, don't be accusational. You will get your head bit off, at least by me. Say things like, say to your loved one, sit down, relax. There's nothing, the best thing they say to me, there's nothing you have to do right now. And so if you live alone, you can, if you're having anxiety, like, not too long ago, I would go out and just, like, pretend I was in a bubble. And I'd intentionally make everyone say I was at a big store. I would make everything a blur, like I was there by myself, and I do self-checkout, so I don't have to deal with anybody, right? Like, I just in and out and gone. And I'm not like that now because I want to get better. So the do's for our responsibility as people who deal with anxiety, and for some of us it's from a result of schizophrenia or bipolar. I used to have paranoia, don't have that anymore, thank God, because it was tough. But we can talk about that another time. So I've been saying, breathe in when you're having anxiety or a panic attack. I've been saying, breathe in and hold it for, like, as long as you can. And then do this. Breathe in. You can count to 3 or 5. Now, here's what science says. Sympathetic nervous system directs the body's rapid involuntary response to dangerous or stressful situations. A flash flood of hormones boosts the body's alertness and heart rate, sending extra blood to the muscles. So, when you do that breathing, you're slowing down. I've actually it takes practice. It's like, I don't know why it's popping in my head, but when I was a kid and you learn how to skip, and next thing you know, you can just keep on skipping because you've been doing it enough. It's the same thing with anxiety and breathing. It takes practice because, especially if you're bipolar or you're an overthinker, it's hard to be in the moment. And I will say that my doctor kept saying mindfulness, mindfulness, mindfulness. I was like, okay, you know what? Like, that doesn't work for me. And mindfulness, and we started charting mood charts, and he was like, wow, like, no wonder it's hard for you. So, I have a friend who said mood charts don't work for her. They wouldn't work for her, and the doctor said, and that's fine. Again, our illness or anxiety is individual to every person. So you got to find your path, and you got to, another thing that's really important is I read it out of this book right here on page 106, Bipolar Not So Much. I can't say enough about this book. It's like my Bible. It's not a book you read front to back. It's a book you read like, okay, I'm anxious. Where do I go? And you open it to that page, and it said that a walk for 45 minutes a day is the equivalent of an antidepressant, only with longer lasting effects. Now, disclaimer, don't stop taking your meds without your doctors knowing. So if I were on an island by myself, would I feel safer? That's an interesting question. No. I don't know you, but if it's too quiet, like, I'm 45, so I have to say I am enjoying the peacefulness, but I'm drawing on past experiences, and past wasn't that long ago. If I have a corny way of thinking, is that we were meant to live in community with other people, otherwise cities wouldn't exist. We're drawn to be with other people. I think that, I actually, Denzel, went to France 5 years ago all by myself and lived there all by myself, and I didn't speak a lick of French, and I ended up speaking it. And I was in my own world. And then also in Canada, I told you there, I created a bubble where I would be like, oh my gosh, so I gotta get milk and bread. Okay, I can do this. And it's very exhausting. But now I go, I gotta get milk and bread. Like, just you have to really train yourself to normalize things. And you can take all the medications in the world, but if you don't do your part to work at it, you're not gonna improve. I was hospitalized in 2016. There's so much we could talk about. It's already 7:34. We'll get into more stuff like having healthy relationships, and like, if you're with someone who doesn't get it, like, I mean, I have first or second date, I would say it outright. Like, I need to tell you something. I need you to know this about me. I have a health issue and it's challenging. And if you want to, you know, have a relationship with me, I need you to read up on it and I need you to understand. And if you have any questions, ask me. But there's no sense spending a year with someone and then they just find out, like, this is not for me, because then you're both brokenhearted. So again, there goes the ADHD, because I have that too. So back to anxiety. So acknowledge that it's there. Do your deep breathing. Keep going and doing things when you've had a good night's sleep, when you're just on. There's just some days that you're just on and you're good and and you have a good time, and then uh you can congratulate yourself on um I did it. Like, I'm went to the event. I'm home. I'm fine. I'm not overstimulated, so I'm not manic. Um, you know, like, if I'm becoming manic, um, you have to tell your mate, like, I'm getting overstimulated. Go home, and there's those triggers. And so, last but not least, one more time I'll repeat. If you are by chance watching this and you care for someone, and when I mean care, if you are married to someone like me, you have to know how to support that person for your own sake. Um, it can become a codependent relationship if you're not careful, and that's not good either. You need to know how to do your own self care, and you need to know how to be with that person that you're with. So don't ask them questions like, "Why are you acting like a jerk?" Um, not the time. The anxiety and panic attacks. I asked my doctor. His name is Dr. Giuseppe Guyana from St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada. He's the head of psychiatry at our hospital. And I asked him, and he told me that anxiety is a side effect of having bipolar. It's not my fault. And things that have happened to you that might have caused PTSD are not your fault. But it is our responsibility to learn how to exist and how to manage it and how to improve. And just saying I'm sick, that's too bad, is you're not gonna go as far as you can go. And I think I've said it on another video. People that are bipolar or have a mental illness are some of the brightest people on the planet. And if you don't learn to overcome the crappy parts, you won't be able to really blossom and bloom and become all you can be as a person. So I'm going to sign off. I hope that you've learned something. Um, and who's ever is watching this on the replay, hit hashtag replay. If you have any questions, drop the questions in the comments, and I will 100% get back to you, unless all of a sudden I have like 200,000 people all asking me questions at once. But I want to thank all of you. I think we're up to 22 subscribers. And I want to thank the two of you. You're so wonderful and awesome to sit here with me. And thank you, Denzel. And thank you, Liz, if you're still here, whoever's here. Thank you for letting me share with you. My ultimate goal is that you remember me, and when I tell you that I freak out and I cry and I have adult child fits because of my disability, that this is a real illness, that you remember that. And if you are ever suicidal, that you remember that, you know, I'm just like you. And um, I said to my friend yesterday who has a brain disorder because of a car accident, and it's not that much different, me, her, or I. And I said, you know what? Sometimes really sucks. It's not our fault, but if you're a driven person like me, there's no middle. It's either quit or keep going. And deep down, you got to keep going because we're here for a reason. And if you don't believe that, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. So, good night, everybody. Have an awesome, do some breathing, practice your breathing. This channel is for you as much as it is for me. So, name of my company, Living Alive Granola. And if you send a message there, I can then direct you. And yeah, you'll find me somehow there. But have a good rest of the evening. I'm going to go and watch a Hallmark movie. Just kind of check out for a while. Pretend that the whole city is in love with each other and they ride off to the sunset completely in love and everything is perfect. Bye.